Chicago Tonight, Black Voices is made possible in part by Fifth Third Bank and by the support of these donors.
At Fifth Third, we believe when diverse voices are heard and empowered, communities are made stronger, lives are made better, and the future holds greater promise for all. That's why we're proud to support Chicago Tonight Black Voices. Together, we can make a difference. Together, we can drive change.
Good evening and welcome to Chicago Tonight Black Voices. I'm Brandis Friedman and thank you for sharing part of your weekend with us. On the show tonight, Chicago is making a major investment in affordable housing. A look at how the city's new funding strategy is bringing opportunities to developers of color. What's next for the family of slain teenager Emmett Till after the Department of Justice officially closes its investigation? A new book explores hockey culture and why long-standing attitudes may be harmful. A Chicago public school football coach makes history as the first black woman to enter a male-dominated field. A holiday drive bringing hair care products to those in need.
My name is Mahari. I do hip hop, you could say.
And a dancer who identifies as autistic shows us how she uses dancing to express herself. First off tonight, affordable housing developments are getting a big boost in funding. Chicago will invest $1 billion into the creation and preservation of 24 development projects as a result of federal pandemic recovery money and the mayor's 2022 budget. The move not only aims to bring more affordable housing to the city, but also looks to support developments led by people of color. Joining us with more are Leon Walker, co-founder of the Chicago Emerging Minority Developer Initiative. That's an organization that seeks to get more developers of color into the industry. And Abraham Lacey, president and CEO of the Far South Community Development Corporation, which is leading one of the projects benefiting from this investment. Gentlemen, thank you both for joining us tonight. Abraham, let's start with you first, please. Your organization is overseeing the Morgan Park Commons project. Tell us about that project and how the low-income tax housing credits that the city is granting will help.
Yes, so thank you, Brandis, for having us tonight. And this project is transformative, is catalytic. We believe that this is going to be a game changer for the Far South Side area, and it's going to address the current housing need. The project is on the northwest corner of 115th and Halsted. It is a 390-unit proposed mixed-use development. About 250 of those units are rental, and about 140 are single-family housing. The other is about 20,000 square feet of retail, as well as a community center with 3 acres of open green space that connects to the Major Taylor bike trail.
And Abraham, we were just looking at some pictures, some video while you were talking. What's currently at that location that you're planning on working on?
Right now, there's a vacant former Jewel Osco store there. It's about 67,000 square feet. It used to be a Jewel Osco grocery store as well as a Halsted mall. That mall was torn down about 6 or 7 years ago, but the store has been vacant now going on more than 10 years. And so we're looking to break it up, this project into phases. So we're looking at phase 1, which is covered under the tax credit award, which is about 80 units that's going to border along the South Halsted corridor, and it's going to cover about 10,000 square feet of retail.
So according to the mayor and city leaders, 10 of 24 developments on the list are BIPOC-led. Of course, that is Black, Indigenous, people of color. All 24 will have BIPOC participation. The city actually conducted a racial equity impact assessment to get these numbers. We asked Housing Commissioner Marisa Novara about this earlier this week, and here's a bit of what she had to say.
One of the things we found was that we have been silent on the question of who actually develops affordable housing. And in a country where we have such profound racial wealth gaps, we really felt that that was something we needed to change right away. We set out to say we want to ensure that people of color are part of the development team, are leading the development, are part of the development team in a substantive way, so that we see folks building wealth through the creation of this housing, as well as benefiting from being able to live in the units on the back end.
And Leon Walker, why is it important to support projects led by people of color, and why hasn't this been done more already?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. Really excited to talk about this historic announcement by Mayor Lightfoot and her team, including Commissioner Navarro. This is a game changer in the city of Chicago and how development has been pursued. We're talking about 9% competitive tax credit awards, and historically, going back as far as most can remember, there has not been any 9% tax credit award that's been solely led by a Black development team, certainly, and very few that are been led by Brown or Latinx development teams. It really is a part of saying how, can we stand up entrepreneurs of color in the neighborhoods such that they now can participate in the revitalization of their own communities. For far too long, we have been, saying and, demanding, asking, pleading for someone to come build something in our community, to do something new in our neighborhoods. Well, now this begins the process of building capacity with the talent that already exists in the communities such that they can, begin to imagine, execute their vision and help revitalize their own communities. And you're not just simply waiting on someone else to come do something.
Absolutely. To that point, Leon, why is it important that, people of color, and in this instance specifically Black people, are in a position to lead the development that's happening in their own communities?
Right. Well, I mean, you have, a greater level of engagement, more of a sensitivity to the character and context of the community. You're not having to learn that, even though there are some very experienced and developers of all nationalities who have done excellent work. This is not just about them. This is also about, creating a new crop of entrepreneurs and developers who can execute, because it's not about the one deal, right? They will begin to execute these sometimes highly complex transactions, but there will be other development, follow-on development that happens in the neighborhood and community, because now they have capacity and scale, and they have the teams and the design expertise to further more development and activate more streets in more neighborhoods that have been underdeveloped in our community.
And Abraham Lacey, before we let the two of you go, give us a sense, if you would, about the scope of the affordable housing problem in Chicago and in your community. What do you need?
Oh, it's vast. I mean, there's been studies done that was conducted before that says that we have a housing shortage, affordable housing shortage in the city of Chicago, to the tunes of thousands of those who are in need of it. And also, when you're talking in terms of depopulation, one of the reasons why people depopulate is because they can't find an affordable housing place to live in. And so we need more housing development. And I want to piggyback off of what Leon just stated about building within, having those developers build from their own neighborhood. When we're waiting for a developer, and even though they have good intentions in what they're trying to do, we're waiting for that one developer or two developers to come in and do one project. And then we have to wait for the next round for it when their capacity allows them to do. And
obviously, I'm sure that ends up delaying any progress that you're looking to
absolutely.
make. Unfortunately, we're actually out of time right there. Abraham Lacey and Leon Walker, thanks to the both of you for joining us, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you for highlighting this issue.
The U.S. Department of Justice has closed its investigation into the abduction and killing of Emmett Till. But relatives and friends of Till's family say they plan to continue working to keep his story alive.
They've been looking back for 66 years. Now they want to move forward, and they want to use this decision as an impetus, as motivation for other people to get involved as well.
Northwestern professor Chris Benson co-wrote a book with Mamie Till Mobley about her son Emmett Till's lynching, her autobiography. He has been following the DOJ investigation since it reopened in 2017. Till was killed in 1955 after he was accused of whistling at a white cashier. He was 14 at the time, from Chicago, visiting family in Mississippi. The Justice Department had been reconsidering charges after a 2017 book claimed the woman at the center of the case had recanted her story. But the DOJ ultimately decided it was unable to prove if she in fact lied to federal investigators back in 1955.
They have lived for 66 years, hoping to learn who would answer for Emmett. And now they know nobody's going to answer for Emmett, at least not under the current, body of evidence that's been collected. So that's terribly painful for them. It's finally over in that sense. Now they have to do what a Christian family will do, and they are all very religious, and try to do what Mamie Till Mobley did, and that is to mine the grief for some mission in life. And so they've already begun to do that, building on that hope to transform the next generation to step up and get involved in social justice.
And in another major development around the killing of Emmett Till, a House committee passed the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act earlier this week. If approved by Congress, lynching would be designated as a federal hate crime. Up next, arts correspondent Angel Ito with our latest installment of our Black Voices Book Club. Stay with us.
The recent sexual assault allegations by former Chicago Blackhawk Kyle Beach has reignited concerns and questions about hockey's culture. Now, Beach recently filed a lawsuit against the Blackhawks, accusing the organization of mishandling his sexual assault claims. Now, Beach says he was assaulted by coach Brad Aldrich in 2010, and when he reported it, he was ignored until after the team won the Stanley Cup. Now, sexual assault in hockey is just one topic explored in a new book titled Game Misconduct: Hockey's Toxic Culture and How to Fix It. And it's the latest selection in our Black Voices Book Club. One of the book's authors, Evan Moore, joins us now for more. Now, Moore is a former reporter for the Chicago Sun-Times and is now the press secretary for Chicago Public Schools. Now, Evan, let's get right in. You've been writing about hockey for years, but what made you want to write this book?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of things that go on in the sport that go unnoticed, because in American sports, it's in terms of popularity behind football, basketball, and baseball. So many things that happen within the sport go unnoticed, and I'm someone that follows sports pretty well, and particularly the NBA and the NHL. And over time, I just noticed a lot of dog whistle rhetoric and players and fans saying things about the NBA, which obviously has mostly black, because the NBA is mostly a black league. Mm-hmm. And just over time, just seeing how certain things in particular sports happen, and how it's seen, for instance, when the Malice of the Palace between the Pistons and the Pacers several years ago, and that prompted the NBA to change their dress code and enforce the dress code and implement all these rules. But meanwhile, in hockey, fighting is seen as a means to an end and traditional, and it's seen in a much more positive light.
Absolutely. Now, I want to ask, one of the topics that you also address in the book is toxic masculinity. Now, could you describe what that is and how you think it can contribute to some of the issues that you see in hockey?
Now, people just look at who's at the top of making decisions at hockey rinks, and it's mostly white men, whether it's journalists, coaches, parents, players, administrators, and folks like that. And it doesn't take much to see who these folks are, white men. And over time, we've seen the decision made, and it's all about. They say it's all about team, but as we saw happened with Kyle Beach and other players, you have people who are in power who are saying hey, if you don't go along with whatever I want, then you can't play hockey. not making it in the NHL. And every hockey player out there, that's their main, focus is to get to the show, as they say, to get to the play in the NHL. And unfortunately, over time, some folks went along with some experiences because they wanted to play hockey.
And we're talking about a lot of these problems, but what do you see some of the solutions to be?
It starts with listening to people. It starts with a house cleaning in some areas. We saw what happened with the Blackhawks, but the thing is, the NHL didn't step in and tell them to do this. They were allowed to do this on their own. I mean, when these incidents happen, you have to have folks who you can call like an independent investigator or something like that. Like the Blackhawks were allowed to hire their own investigator, and the coach who was on the team when all this was happening was allowed to coach one more game with the other team he was at now. And also, you see the people who were called out on what happened in Stan Bowman, Al McIsaac, and all these other folks. The NHL didn't say like, hey, you can't be a part of our league anymore. And they said, we'll do it on a trial basis. And that doesn't really make any sense, knowing that they held this down for all these years. And instead of like doing the right thing and reporting repeated sexual assault, they allowed this coach to have the Stanley Cup. What else? Write a recommendation for him to go work for another team, and then do the same thing again.
I know that you talk a lot about solutions in your book, so I do look forward to reading those as well. I hate to cut things here with you, Evan, but thank you so much for joining us.
Well, no, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Again, the book is called Game Misconduct, Hockey's Toxic Culture and How to Fix It. Back with more Chicago Tonight, Black Voices, right after this.
It's that time of the year for holiday drives, and one Chicago initiative is focused on hair care.
So the Love and Happiness Hair Care Drive is a holiday drive that I started in 2019. It takes its namesake from an album I released the same year called Love and Happiness. And after releasing Love and Happiness and releasing 2 projects where the focus was finding self-love and, finding myself through the growth of my natural hair, I was like, yo, it would be really cool to do some type of give back related to this. And that's what the Hair Care Drive is.
The Love and Nappiness Hair Care Drive was started by Chicago hip-hop artist Matt Muse. The goal is to collect unused natural hair care, skin care, and personal hygiene products. Anyone can drop off items at 6 locations across the Chicago area, including the Silver Room in Hyde Park. The products will then be donated to Ignite, a shelter for youth facing housing insecurity, and St. Leonard's Ministries, a transition home for formerly incarcerated men and women.
Us as Black people, our hair care is such an important part of our person and our upbringing, and so it was like, yo, we have privilege to afford these expensive products, that sometimes cost more for the actual proper hair care, and proper skin care. And I'm like, yo, we should also give these products to other people who may not be as privileged and as well off to afford them, but they still need them, you know what I'm saying? Folks at St. Leonard's, for example, they're transitioning out of prison. So they're trying to get back into society, trying to get jobs. The young people at Ignite, dealing with housing insecurity, are also trying to get jobs, trying to go to school. So they should be able to look good and feel good just like we do when we use those products as well.
In another effort to celebrate Black culture, the donation collection boxes were created by local artists. The drive ends Friday, December 17th, and will culminate with the Long Hair Don't Care show at Metro Chicago, headlined by Chicago singer Jamila Woods and featuring a performance by Matt Muse. A portion of ticket sales will be donated as well. For more information about the show and to find out a list of the drop-off locations, you can visit our website, WTTW.com/news. A Southside football coach is making history as the first Black woman to lead a boys football team in the Chicago Public League, and she's making a difference on and off the field.
Good job, good job, good job. Let's go.
Kanisha Ray, also known as Coach K, is the new head football coach of the DuSable Panthers, a high school football team comprised of students from Daniel Hale Williams Prep High School and Bronzeville Scholastic Institute, both located at the historic DuSable campus. She took over this year after school leaders decided to make some staffing changes.
To be honest, we probably weren't even looking internally at the program when we decided we might have to make some changes to the program. It was the players that stepped up and said, hey, if this is what you guys are considering, we'd like you to hear us out.
The players advocated for Coach K.
Once we heard that we ain't had no head coach no more, we instantly brought up Coach K.
She got the job, moving from assistant coach to head coach. She's now making history as the first black woman to lead a Chicago Public League boys football team. It's a glass ceiling Coach K didn't even realize she was breaking.
It was a friend of mine who pointed that out. Two friends of mine, when I went to Chicago State, they pointed it out, and I said, no, I can't be. And they're like, you are. And so it's an honor. It's kind of scary being the first, but I have a lot of great mentors, so I'm okay.
Coach K isn't the only one breaking the gender barrier. While traditionally a boys' team, over the years, girls have started to join.
It's open to girls, and I've gone and look, ladies, I played, so I've even worn my Chicago Force football jersey here to let them know, hey, you can play if you're a girl. Don't let that be a deterrent.
I wanted to be on the football team, because, as a girl, gender don't mean nothing,
Coach K says her focus is on her players and building the team. That includes recruitment, which can be a challenge.
The principals gave me the phone list, and I was texting parents saying, hey, I'm Coach K. We have a football team. We would love if your, insert the daughter's name, the son's name, would be interested in coming out. And I got replies. We got people to show up.
Williams School Principal Julinar Naselli says it's that dedication that's brought the DuSable football program more stability and consistency. In the past, coaches have struggled to get enough players on the team and to get them to stick around.
Unfortunately, we've had some coaching turnover several times within the past few years. And despite that, and despite the size of the team, this is one of the few years that we've actually finished the season with all the players and had a complete season.
And it's not just on the football field. Principal Naselli is also noticing improvements in the classroom.
Their academics increased. Their code of conduct concerns practically don't exist.
Performing well on and off the field is something Coach K makes sure to instill in her students.
I'm teaching you the fundamentals of the game that will equate to, life lessons.
She tough on us, Even though she a female, I know how people be about that stereotypical stuff, but she tough on us. So just like any other coach, off the field, she like a mother to us. She give us, you feel me, the love and stuff that we need.
She like a second mom to me. Like, if I ever needed something, she'd be there for me, just like that.
As a coach, she never gave up on us. No matter if we won or lose the game, she always pushed us harder.
The DuSable Panthers had a tough season, losing every game. But they're already looking ahead to next year and thinking of ways to get better.
Next year, I guess we're going to practice more during the summer, hang around each other more, practice on the field, so we can be prepared for next year.
And as for Coach K, well, she's planning to take her team all the way.
We need to go to state. We need to win. That's ultimate to be able to bring another state championship to Chicago Public Schools, but to even be able to compete for the state, state playoffs, to make it to the second round of state playoffs would be amazing for us.
And this season was also a record year for girls' participation, with 4 girls joining the team. Last month, we introduced you to a couple of local artists receiving cash grants from the Chicago-based nonprofit 3 Arts to help pursue their careers. 8 of the 10 recipients of a $30,000 award are Black. This week, we're featuring another winner, Kat Mahari, a crump dancer and visual artist who identifies as autistic.
My name is Kat Mahari. I do hip hop, you could say. I was always dancing, and as a initially nonverbal autistic person, that was my first form of communication. I really enjoy how it gives me a way to explore and experience and analyze my world as well as the world around me.
In one city, one country, one state. Some place to be nobody. Some place to be. Some place you wouldn't know probably.
Right now I'm working on a process that will probably be premiere within its final formations, I'm hoping, in 2024. And so I'm going to be going forward with that, and that's going to be a live performance, and it's based around that concept of Esentai, which is feet touch the earth, and it comes from a Yoruba ritual where a child destiny is revealed amongst close, intimate kin, and so hopefully that will be coming through in 2024.
They try to box me out while taking what they want from me. I spent too many years living too uncomfortably, making room for people who didn't like the label.
And Kat says she hopes the money from 3 Arts will help support her future projects. And that is our show for this weekend. Be sure to check out our website, WTTW.com/news, for the very latest from WTTW News. And if you're watching us on Saturday night, know that you can also catch Black Voices and Latino Voices on Sundays beginning at 10 p.m. And join me and Paris Schutz next week at 7 on Chicago Tonight. And we leave you tonight with music from another 3 Arts Award recipient, Shanta Nurullah. Now, for all of us here at Chicago Tonight Black Voices, I'm Brandis Friedman. Thanks for sharing part of your weekend with us. Stay healthy and safe, and have a good night.
Closed captioning is made possible in part by Robert A. Clifford and Clifford Law Offices, wishing all a happy and healthy holiday season.